All right, last up we have Jérôme Vuillon. He has been a longtime contributor to the OCaml and wider ML community. In particular, he put the O in OCaml and has built some other cool stuff, and now he's going to tell us about putting the OCaml on the web faster.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about my work on compiling OCaml to WebAssembly. I'm interested in running large programs in web browsers, and this has been possible for 16 years now, thanks to efficient JavaScript implementations. And an alternative to JavaScript is WebAssembly, which is also widely available. And if you want to run your favorite program written in your favorite language, you can use a compiler. So now JavaScript is widely used. It's used everywhere, basically. And WebAssembly not so much. So I will start to explain why, and why I'm still interested in targeting WebAssembly. So WebAssembly provides a C-like environment. So you manipulate only scalar values, like integers and float values. And you can read and write values from a linear memory. And WebAssembly manages the stack containing return addresses and local variables. So here's an example of WebAssembly module. You can import functions from other modules. So here it imports a function square root that takes the float as argument and returns the float from another module math. And then it defines the function length that takes two parameters x and y, which are floats, and return a float. And this function stores the square of x and y into two variables, and then returns the square root of the sum of the variables. And this function is exported by the module. So a good thing about WASM is that it has a simple semantics. So compared to JavaScript, it has some much more predictable performances. And also from the implementer of the WASM engine, it's much easier to generate good code than with JavaScript. So JavaScript engines are doing some magic to generate efficient code, and sometimes the magic just does not work. And it's a very good target for C and C++ because the memory model is very similar. However, it's hard to use it for web programming because you cannot directly manipulate JavaScript values. You typically have to store them in some table and have an ID. And you have to manually release the values. And also, it's not very suitable for implementing, for supporting a GC-based language. And the main issue is that GC cannot see the local variables. So you basically have to spill all local variables to the linear memory whenever you allocate something or you call a function. And this can be costly. And also, it's a significant amount of work to implement this correctly and efficiently, minimizing spilling. And another issue is that now you have two GC, and they need to, the the GC of the language and the JavaScript GC, and now they have to cooperate somehow. And so this was the situation until recently. But now there is an extension of WASM with heap allocated values. And the heap is shared with JavaScript. And this is really a game changer because we no longer need to re-implement a GC. And it's possible to directly manipulate JavaScript values. And this extension is available at the moment in Chrome and Firefox, and very soon in Safari. So we can really use it now. So it has reference types. At the top, there is any, so basically the type of all values, including JavaScript values. Then there is a type of value, type X of values with a physical equality. And then you have arrays, structs, and what is very interesting for OCaml is that you have integers in the same hierarchy. And for each type, you can specify whether it's nullable or not. And you can specify arrays using type definitions. So here, block is a mutable array containing values of type refx, and string is an array of bytes. And similarly, you can define struct by specifying their field. So a box float is going to be a structure with a single field that contains an unboxed value. So I'm now going to talk about my work. So the starting point is JS-OCaml, which I have implemented at the start, which is an industrial strength compiler, and it's a really popular way to run OCaml code on, in web browsers. And it compiles OCaml bytecode to JavaScript, which turned out to be very convenient because it's easy to maintain. The bytecode is a fairly stable API. And it's easy to use because the user can just build a bytecode program and compile it to JS-OCaml. It does not need to recompile all its libraries and build a specific environment for web programming. So the idea was to retarget JS-OCaml to generate WebAssembly code instead. And I hope to get better performances and more consistent performances. And I wanted to minimize the chance that were needed to port the program from JS-OCaml to WASM-OCaml. And I have a few demos. One is a Game Boy emulator. And you can see that it's not JavaScript code here. And I can run actually a really large program. And this is the BSport website, which is a kind of social network for sport. And so you can keep track of all your sport events and things like that. And it's about 100,000 lines of code. And the pages are generated client side. And it just worked with a few changes. I will come back to this later. So I'm going to talk about the implementation. So I reuse a lot of the JS-OCaml code. So for instance, bytecode parsing and also all the optimization phases that works on an SSA intermediate code. And since WASM does not have closures, I added a closure conversion phase. And I actually implemented the the way we generate structured code based on a very nice paper by Norman Ramsey at ICFP 2 years ago. And so the compiler is relying heavily on the Ben Iron toolchain, which is a series of tools to manipulate WASM code. So WASM of Camel will generate some WASM text file, which is linked using WASM merge with the OCaml runtime. Then the code is optimized with WASM opt. And WASM beta DCE is used to perform dead code elimination. And I'm also using it to be able to know what JavaScript code needs to be linked together with the WASM code. I'm using a uniform representation of values. So all of OCaml values, that's really standard. All OCaml values as type refec. Integers as type are 31-bit integers of type ref if31. Constructors and tuples are represented as arrays with the first type, where the first field is an integer tag. So a block is an array of refec. A string is just a sequence of bytes, and the floats are boxed, as I showed previously. The representation of closures is quite standard as well. We need to be able to support clarification. So we have 2 entry points for the functions. If the number of arguments is right, then we can directly call the function. Otherwise, we pass the arguments one by one. And so closures will contain as a first field a one argument function for querying. And the second field is the actual call pointer, and then there is the environment. And that's an example which is a bit large, but well. That's a closure with for a function with 2 parameters and 3 values in the environment. So the first field is a function with 1 argument for querying. The second is a function with 2 arguments, which is the actual call pointer. And then the 3 last fields are the environment. And that's a subtype of all the function of with 2 arguments. And the code pointer, you can see that it takes actually a 3rd argument, which is the closer, the environment, to be able to access the environment in the function. To implement the runtime, I need to provide an implementation for each primitives used in the OCaml standard library. So that's the example here is for float addition. So for each function, so each primitive, I need to define a WASM function. And here the function will take 2 parameters x and y, unbox the float, add them, and then box back the float and return the result of the addition. Actually, this function is known by the compiler, and it will generate in that code, which allow more optimization by later on. And one sometimes needs to use JavaScript code, and I provide a way to link JavaScript code from WASM. So the WASM MetaDC tool can provide me a list of JavaScript primitives that are used in the program, and then I reuse the JS4CamL linker to package these primitives. And so On the WASM side, I import the JavaScript function. And on the JavaScript side, I use a directive to name it, and so that JSONCaml knows what he needs to use. I've implemented effect handlers in two ways, actually. One is inherited from JSONCaml, which supports effects by a partial CPS transformation. And it's simpler in WASM because WASM has tail calls, so you don't need to implement a trampoline to avoid exhausting the stack. And another approach is to use an extension, which proposal which is called JS Promise Integration, which allows to stop the execution when calling JavaScript, to stop the current execution of the WASM program, to suspend the execution of the WASM program. And basically, the function will return a promise, and the WASM program will continue when the promise is resolved. And from JavaScript, you can resume another thread of execution of WASM, so you can switch between several threads, and that allows to implement effect handlers. And in the future, we plan to use a stack switching proposal, which provides native WASM support for effects. There are some features that are not available in WASM, which are needed for implementing the OCaml runtime. And I have used JavaScript for that. So first, many mathematical functions are not available natively in WASM. So you can implement them in WASM, but it's simpler and probably faster to just import them from JavaScript. And the conversion between floats and strings are tricky to implement, and I'm just reusing the JavaScript implementation. WASM currently does not have weak pointers, so I'm using the weak and weak map classes from JavaScript to implement weak arrays and ephemerans. And for marshalling, I'm using the map object from JavaScript to deal with sharing. And I've ported the Varith Begint library to WASM. And for that, I'm reusing the JavaScript Begint. So for instance, for the addition of two Begint, the addition is implemented first in JavaScript. Then this function is imported in WebAssembly. And we implement the actual primitive in WebAssembly. And it's, so we cannot, because the type of OCaml values is refec, and the type of JavaScript values is refany, which is not a subtype of refec. I need to box the Begint, and so the WebAssembly function just unbox its arguments and box the result. So now I'm not going to talk about how we can interact with JavaScript from OCaml. So JavaScript values, as I've just said, are boxed. So it's just a structure that contains any value. And there are two functions, one to box value and one to unbox it. And these functions map 31-bit integers to ref E31. And the values of type reflec are not actually boxed, which means that if you have an OCaml value, you can send it to JavaScript and get it back in still an OCaml value, not a boxed OCaml value. And then to implement then I need to implement a rather small number of primitives to be able to interact with JavaScript. And this primitive comes from are used to build the JSON library. So for instance, you need to be able to access properties of an object, call functions and methods, and convert between JavaScript and OCaml values. So as an example, that's a conversion from JavaScript booleans to OCaml booleans. And so the funny thing is that in JavaScript, you can just use the identity function, because when you import this function, you explicitly give some types, and that is when you use it from WebAssembly, some conversions are performed. So the function toolbool take as argument any JavaScript value, so a boolean, and return an integer. And the semantics is that it's to convert the JavaScript value into an integer. And for Boolean, it's just 0 and 1 or 1, and that's exactly what you want. And so the primitive is implemented by unboxing the JavaScript value, calling the conversion function, and then turning the integer into a 31-bit integer. And actually, several of these primitives are known by the compiler, and it generates better code. So, for instance, it avoids the string conversions for constant strings, and it can generate more efficient code for accessing properties and calling functions or methods. So in JSON OCaml, JavaScript objects are manipulated directly, and OCaml integers and floats are both mapped to JavaScript numbers. We don't make a difference. On the other hand, in case of OCaml, JavaScript objects are boxed. JavaScript integers are still mapped on OCaml integers when they fit, but usually they fit. And OCaml floats and JavaScript floats are really different. So it means that when porting existing applications, you need to explicitly conversion between JavaScript floats and OCaml floats. And also OCaml functions, they kind of worked when called from JavaScript, and that no longer work because they are implemented at rhythm structures. So you have to, there was already a way to specify that the function was a callback, and now this is mandatory. And JSON OCaml is a bit more picky. No, WASM OCaml is more picky because if you pass a null when an integer is expected, usually the program is going to trap. And also, there are some codes that expect at least 32-bit integers that has to be changed. And in practice, it's not a lot of work. For instance, for the Bsport web app, I only had to change about 100 lines, and that was mostly adding some float conversions. And the process is relatively simple because your program either does not type, because some float conversion are missing, or just crashes because you have not added some some conversions when you're passing the wrong value from JavaScript to OCaml, something like that. But there was one case where we had problem where the code was wrong, was misbehaving, and it was not caught by the type checker, and usually the error was relatively silent. It was not crashing at the place where there was the error. That's physical equality, because JS-OCaml is implemented using the OCaml physical equality. JS-OCaml implements the OCaml physical equality using JavaScript strict equality operator. And this operator, when you compare two strings, for instance, they are considered as equal if they have the same contents. And with WASM physical equality, that's not the case. It's really a physical equality comparison. So if you have two boxed JavaScript strings, they are not going to be equal. And what we have done is to not use directly refx, physical equality, but when the two values are JavaScript values, we use the JavaScript strict equality. And that's relatively cheap because testing if something is of a given type is not very expensive. There is some Doom support on the way. So I have made a PR on Dune, but it needs to be reviewed and accepted. So you can add some submodes to the JS-OCaml directive to specify whether you want to generate JavaScript code or WASM code. Oh, and by the way, separate compilation is supported. And also, I have added a way to specify some runtime WASM code to be added when compiling when generating some WASM code. I've made a number of benchmarks to evaluate the performance. And so on micro benchmarks, the results are pretty good. The running time is about 2/3 of the JavaScript running time. And the code is about twice slower than native code. And one exception is exceptions, which remain slow. So JavaScript exceptions are really, really slow. But WASM exceptions are much slower than usually OCaml in exceptions. So on these two examples, we are 2 to 3 times slower than bytecode, which is not great. And on large benchmark, it works pretty well. So if you compile the OCaml compiler itself, you get something which is twice faster than bytecode, which is not too bad. And for the CamelBoy example I gave previously, it's about 50% faster in WASM than in JavaScript. And in practice, it does not actually make much difference because most of the time is spent in writing the frame buffer, which is a typed array, and it's a bunch like. Another benchmark I've used is a library for building interactive UI. And they have an implementation of table of numbers with a lot of small benchmarks. And so that GenStreet cares a lot about it because they want to display a lot of numbers rapidly. And again, the WebAssembly implementation is much faster than JavaScript. And using a native some native functions to convert between JavaScript and WASM between JavaScript strings and WASM array of bytes. It is actually twice faster. I have tried to evaluate a bit the cost of cast and boot check. That's possible because V8 makes it possible to skip checks, and we are doing a lot of cast and boot check, and so that's about 10% of the running time, which is not that good. 20% for the Bonsai library. Okay. Regarding file size, the generated WASM code is larger than JavaScript code. I think that's because the JavaScript is actually a really compact format, and I suspect that having to explicitly allocate closures takes some space. Regarding the CPS transformation for implementing effects, the effect on size is really low on JavaScript, which is actually a bit surprising, but I think it's because the transformation is rather regular. And in WASM, it's a lot more costly because I think because we have a lot more functions, so a lot more closure allocations to implement. However, the performance in JavaScript can be really low. So for Bonsai, it's 7 times slower after CPS transformation. And in WASM, there is less overhead. It's only about 70% slower. And I have tried to compare the two implementations of effects in WASM. And the one using the JS Promise Integration API is much slower because it's going through the JavaScript event loop each time it switches to a different stack. So rapidly, there's other implementation of other compilers from OCaml to WebAssembly. One of them is WasmCaml, which target core WASM and WASI instead, not web browsers. And they compile the whole OCaml interpreter to WASM using LLVM. And then they compile the bytecode to WASM. And they don't really rely on JavaScript except for exceptions. And WasmCaml is another compiler from OCaml to WasmC. It modifies the Caml compiler, and it was really great because I think it's because of them that we have 31-bit integers in WasmGC. But it's hard to compare the performance between their implementation and ours because it's only a prototype. And to conclude, WasmCaml supports the whole language. Most of the runtime is implemented. I have adapted a number of libraries and the build system. And it is used in production at GenStreet, and they seem pretty happy. And I plan to merge it back in with JS4CAML and make a release. So it's in progress. And then I would like to see whether I can optimize it a bit, avoid some casts and unnecessary boxing. It will be interesting also to support non-JavaScript hosts. Okay, so Wasm of Camel is open source and you can find it online. And I find that WasmGC was very well designed. And it's surprising how well it works now already.
Thanks, Jerome. I think we have time for a question or two, for Dend.
So one thing I've encountered, like using this at Jane Street, is that sometimes like different primitives might have like slightly different behavior for like certain edge cases on like the C code versus the JavaScript code versus the WASM code. Like camel format float, for example, like does completely different things if you pass it like a format string that doesn't begin with a format specifier on the 3 platforms. So I'm wondering like if you've thought at all about how to like enforce consistency between the like implementations of primitives across the different backends.
So format floats should be about the same between, so maybe it's a bug. And we have a lot of small tests in JS for Camel, and we are running it with Wasm of Camel as well to be able to compare the implementations.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I have one question maybe. So all your numbers were on V8 on Chrome, I suppose.
V8,
Your
right.
performance numbers. So of course, yeah, we know the exceptions are really depressing in performance on V8. Did you, by any chance, measure on any other engine, like how bad the exception overhead is?
Can you repeat?
Like you mentioned that exceptions are so slow, right? Like,
Right.
And I suppose you're talking about also WebAssembly exceptions, like the exception proposal.
Yes, WebAssembly. JavaScript exceptions are really slow, and WebAssembly.
Right. But that was on V8. So did you measure that on some other browsers as well, like to compare it maybe? How
Not
bad it's
yet.
just V8?
I
Or?
tried Firefox at some point, and it was even slower. So
Oh dear.
maybe it has changed, but. And
Okay.
so, by the way, I made some changes in the V8 to make them faster. So,
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks.
but this is after my changes. So, initially it was about as slow as JavaScript.
All right. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We're done.